Well, hey, I'm Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. Sometimes you just have to get some help, and I want to talk to someone today, my friend Paul Swansen, about the shift that is coming in politics. So stay tuned. Well, good morning, everybody, and again, welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. I have here on my left or right, no matter, I don't know how this is going ever works out. My good friend Paul Swanson of the
I'm
Swanson Report.
I'm on the screen. That's the
He
important
is
thing.
on the screen. It actually works. And and we've been talking about this week. We've been talking about there is obviously changes in our political landscape. Uh, with the election of Donald Trump and JD Vance and Doge and all the other things all the other things that we're seeing. It was abundantly obvious that there was a shift during the State of the Union address when we saw when we saw all the things. That was an obvious shift. And I wanted to ask Paul that because I like to look down the road some a little bit. What do you see as a major political shift so far with this particular administration?
Well, gee, make it easy.
Okay.
To quote another pontificator, um, Mr. Steve Bannon, it's the this has been, all gas, no brakes. And if we look back to what you and I had talked about during the first administration, the first Trump administration, that was a learning curve for him. And he's had now, 4 years to kind of learn a little bit more, talk to the right people. And I read today there's been 155 executive orders that have come out since January 20th. And gee, wouldn't you know it, the Democrats have filed 122 lawsuits, and they started on day one. They started on January 20th. Well, and this is what, it's some people say, well, okay, he's flooding the zone. Well, yeah, because he knows that he's got to get things pushed through. Um, there's not going to be a receptive congressional delegation to a lot of what he wants to do. Look at all the crap that the cabinet people had to, the cabinet selectees had to go and put up with. That's been a big problem. And one of the other, and like I said, it's all gas, no brakes, and they've got to do that because that's the only way that things are going to get done. Now, I am looking for some other substantive happenings. I mean, there are, there are little things, but and maybe it's just that the gangs all got taken to El Salvador, I guess, last night. Um, gas is starting to drop prices. Eggs are starting to, drop in price. So, there are little things that we're starting to see. Um, I think a lot of people were thinking that, oh, it's just going to be, January 20th and boom, it's all swung the other way all of a sudden. Nope, not happening. It's going to have to go. And the only thing the Democrats have is this lawfare crap that they're doing. They don't they are you and I have talked about it before. They are the Democrats are without a cognitive, reasoned approach to anything that goes on. You talked about the State of the Union. I was glad that I I sat through it so you didn't have to.
Thank you, because
I watched.
I only watch the highlights.
I
I
know.
watch WNBA highlights.
Yeah. I watched. For the past 4 years, hey, there are reruns of whatever on. We'll rather watch that. Watch that. I was glad that, and I forget what we watched, but fortunately, other than Al Green at the very start, um, they did not show much of the Democratic side of the aisle doing anything. The cameras were very smart to keep away from the majority of that. But you knew that with the lack of response to what DJ, the kid, DJ, um,
The kid with cancer
yeah,
who wanted to be a secret service, who got to
yeah,
be an honorary secret serviceman, who wants to go be the cop. He suffered brain cancer.
yeah.
Not a
And
not even a golf clap for that kid.
no, no, yeah. So,
What?
it's, what's going to happen? Um, I, th- it's we will wake up tomorrow and see what's occurring tomorrow. You know, I don't know that um, what tax cuts have got to be
Tax cuts were
the
part of the
CR.
CR.
Yeah. So that's in, um, obviously drill baby drill is going to start to pick up, I would think. Um, and with Scott Bessent and Russ Vogt, we've got to have people who are cognizant of the financial situation that the U.S. is in. People do not seem to get that for whatever reason, and I don't know. They've been living off the government teat for so long that they just sort of think that all of this stuff is going to, miraculously just continue, and it can't.
It cannot. It cannot. And the second we started talking about tariffs about Canada, I thought about you and I said, my friend Paul can see Canada from his house. If the Earth was not, if the Earth was indeed flat, but it is not, by the way, which makes it really hard to see over that hill. But have you heard much where you live about what people are learning about Canadian, this trade war that Trump's got us in with our neighbor to the north, Canada. Really forgetting that for years and years and years, Canada has charged outrageous tariffs on all sorts of what are really staple goods like milk and butter.
Yeah, I mean, here in Wisconsin, the dairy state, we get there's a 240 some odd percent tariff on milk,
Milk.
and it's not quite so much on butter. But and then I read somewhere, and somebody said, hey, look through your house. What do you see in your house that
Made in
says
Canada.
made in
I
Canada?
mean, I did that. Zero. We got zero in our house, and we got crap everywhere. Everywhere. This shirt's made in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I mean, this guitar. I got a guitar here, y'all. Where's this guitar made? I don't remember, but it wasn't made in Canada.
Yeah.
And
I
nothing
mean,
in my house made in Canada.
it's not the. It'll be interesting to see, and there's since we're where we live is a tour vacation destination, if you will. Um, we get Canadians who have come down over the last 10 years. I don't know that we're gonna see any difference or not. I'm
Yeah,
not, I'm not real sure. And to be, when you look at it, you or I or anybody else, the tariffs don't really impact us on a daily basis.
no, especially
And
from
if you
Canada.
don't like, as somebody else said, hey, if you don't like the tariffs, Buy American, buy local.
There
That
you
takes
go.
care of that issue. Hey, I'm not starting to plan up, a new car company or a new manufacturing thing. I'm not buying steel or aluminum or anything like that. So, yeah, I'm
So
not
we talk.
buying. I'm not buying avocados. I haven't seen the price of guacamole change one iota up here.
No, no, I don't, and I really don't think that the price of guacamole is going to change significantly in your life. I've got an avocado tree outside of my house, so when worst comes to worst, we'll make our own guac.
There you go.
But it is interesting. I do like the analogy that it's all gas and no brake. There is, I mean, because there is not going to be, okay, we're going to set this up for the second term. There's no second term coming. There's no setting things up, and I think Trump has realized that he's got to make hay while the sun shines. Um,
Exactly.
and the idea is that the Republicans have to behave like they won. I say all the time, I've said so many times that when we get a chance to move, we don't move because we act like we don't act like we won. Democrats, again, we were talking off air a second ago. I I think one of the my their endearing charms is they always act like they won. They always do. They talk bipartisan nonsense, which is just lies, but they never act that way. They always act like we're in charge. Barack Obama. Elections have
Yep.
consequences.
Hey, guess what, guys?
Yeah, and he
He he
wasn't
was
wrong.
he wasn't wrong. No, he was not wrong. Yeah, Democrats have a tendency to want to spike the football and carry on, and
They do. They take their victory lap. They do their icky shuffle, and and you know what? They act like they won. They do, and we act like Republicans often act like um, they want the game. They want the game to continue after they win. Well, maybe we can give them a. Maybe we can have it overtime and give them another chance. Um,
no.
let them have two. Okay, so this time you don't have to get a first down. You just have to snap the ball, and then you can keep playing. What? It's insane. It's insane. We won. Who was it? Will Cow. We're right. They're wrong.
That's it.
We
That's
just
it.
we just can't. We just think we can't get that done. Well, hopefully, in the next year, we will see a lot. We will see a lot more. Um, where do you see
Yeah,
where do you
I
see
don't think.
Doge in the next year, Paul? Yeah, I know. Crazy, ain't it?
Well, the one thing. Well, not the one. Speaking of Doge, the renegade justices, the judicial kerfuffle that's going on is going to need to get addressed. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess it's got to be by the Supreme Court. They've got to come in and tell the federal judges and the district judges, hey guys, you've got no standing. You can't continue to, the judges in Maryland can't adjudicate on things that are going on, a court case in California or Washington State or Oregon or wherever. You know, it's they've got to get that mindset out of their way because and people are afraid of, or well, not afraid of, but they are completely neglecting Article 2 of the Constitution. He's the president. He gets to say he's the chief executive officer. He's the, commander in chief. He gets to say, and nobody thinks back to, Bill Clinton, firing all 300 and some odd, attorney generals across the United States. You know, nobody thinks about, oh, gee, guys, when you were in office, you were just all up in arms about, hey, if you didn't get a jab, you're out of here. But hey, if you're not doing your job, oh no, we can't have that.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, again, Bill Clinton firing all the AGs. They acted like they won.
Yep.
And then
Well, and I should try to look this up, but and maybe you and I are old enough to try to remember. it
try to remember is exactly the phrase.
yeah.
Oh.
It's always been my understanding that with the transition to a new administration, any department heads, cabinet, all of those people, hey, you had a letter of resignation prepared and that was given out, and then that got decided whether you were keeping your job or not. But there was no guarantee with that new administration that you had a job.
Because the phrase is this, Paul, you serve at the pleasure of the president.
Exactly.
Because your department is under the executive branch, and the chief executive gets to decide.
Exactly. And gee, who of us hasn't lost a job? Hey, folks, suck it up, Buttercup.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, Paul. Well, we're running out of time here on the Zoom because I refuse to pay for Zoom Pro. I just won't do it. I just won't do it. Screw them. Not going to happen. All right. Well, I appreciate you popping in for a moment. It's always good to talk to you. It's always good to catch up. And I think that what you're saying here is important. That we're going to see more. I like to say it like this because that's what it ends up looking like. We're going to see more chaos until we don't.
Yep.
And people will start to see things change a bit at a time. Nothing was going to happen. Nothing was ever going to happen overnight.
No, nothing catastrophic. Nothing catastrophic.
That was never going to happen. But things are changing, and the narrative about egg prices that are still up, it's not true. Egg prices are down. Gas prices, we're watching gas prices drop even before the introduction of the summer blends, when they normally go up. Because it's spring here. I don't know about where you are, Paul. It's still freaking frozen north up there.
Spring-ish.
As in Canada. I mean, it's just here it was 73 degrees this morning when I got up. So we're starting, when we see gas prices start to dip, when normally they start to rise because of the whole summer blends and refinery madness. We're starting to see it, bit by bit. And I don't need it to happen overnight. That'd be great. But I need it to be permanent.
Exactly.
I need it to be permanent. So that's starting to happen. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, you're always my first call, Paul. You know that. You're always my first call. And I appreciate you greatly. Tell everybody in your house I said hello. Give everybody in your house a hug for me. I appreciate that.
Same to you and yours.
I will do just that. And we will be back with more of the Morning Report right after this.
Welcome to the Morning Report, a production of fightbackmedia.com, the #1 source of urban conservative information in America.